we're not going to get into a big finance discussion, but we're going to talk about a piece of our finance. So why don't you go ahead and
we
explain.
are gearing up for the next month. So there's just a couple of days until the next month, which is May, and that's pretty typical. I tend to kind of start to think about the next month as far as scheduling and what weeks are busier, what weeks are some good weeks to get some chores done around the house. And then I also look at the budget, and you handle the budget and the software that we use for tracking that for the day in and day out, and I'm more of the big picture. We have some pretty aggressive goals in regards to paying off some debt and those kinds of things. And so a very important part of that is setting and sticking to the budget. And there's a lot of things that can cause that to kind of go off the rails or be more successful than other months. So this particular month is really busy. And we're also coming off of me not feeling well and some things where it just kind of was a secondary priority. So now we've kind of raised it to the top, and we have one area that we're actually going to share with on the vlog, and that's our food budget. We are a family of 6, and you're going to share some of the numbers of what an average budget is for a family our size, but our with any budget you have the number that fits within your with all of your income and all your bills. You give a number, all categories, you give them a number that is where they should be, and our food budget specifically can start at $1,000, and it can be less, which is what we desire it to be. It can be almost 50% more. And that's a huge swing when you have really specific goals. And actually, we haven't really talked about other financial numbers, but if you look at all of our expenses, it's the biggest.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we're in an inexpensive place for living in the country, and so we have a low mortgage, we have low other expenses, and so definitely our food budget can make the month successful or not. And so we have a really aggressive goal for this month, and we're going to share the details of what that is and how we're doing along the way, and share at the end of the month in a vlog talking about just that whole journey.
So what is our goal?
So our goal is for all groceries all food to be $800 this month. That is not household items. We give that a separate number.
Meaning like toiletries
and paper goods and those kinds of things. They have their own category. So just food, and that does not include our kids' the school lunches. Is that $75?
60.
So $860 for food for the month. And if you follow other social media accounts like I do, there are some people who say, oh my goodness, that's twice what it should be. There's some people who say that's not enough. That's the number that we've chosen, and we have not been close to that number. We've been way over in recent months.
What was April? Do you know what April is?
Oh, well, April hasn't ended. April was over $1,500.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Double what this goal is. And why was it double? What do you think is the number one cause of it being doubled?
You might have a different response. I feel like it's a lack of planning.
I was going to say lack of focus.
Yeah, in an ideal month, and already I've done the meal plan for May as part of establishing a good plan. So a good plan is to have a meal plan and a grocery list, and you set forth, and that's what you stick to. And during April and March, when I wasn't feeling great, it was a lot of this is what sounded good, or this is what's most convenient. So there were multiple trips to the grocery store in a given week, and $40 and $50 a trip really adds up.
Yeah, it really does add up. And one of the reasons that our food budget, if someone is listening or watching this and thinks that that's high, for us, we focus on as clean as possible.
Yeah.
We focus on whole foods.
Whole foods, not processed.
Yeah, very little process. It's not that we don't get any process. We still, we go to Aldi and we buy the off-brand Cheez-Its. You know, there's some boxed and processed snacks that we get. But generally speaking, the foods that we buy are
ingredients.
Our ingredients. Our meats, our vegetables, the things that we want to fuel our bodies properly. So we could have a cheaper grocery budget, but for our family, 800, if we're focused, is where we feel we can be at in order to give our kids and ourselves the food that we are comfortable with and we feel suits our family best. And that's why our number is at 800. And the 1600 was full of a lot of food that wasn't that way. There was eating out, there was pizza, there was a lot of things in that. But you're correct. Our single biggest expense is food, and that's the one that, as we look at paying off debt, which our debt is composed of student loans, the van, and our mortgage. I mean, that's it. We've gotten rid of all other debt, and so we're focusing on those areas. Some debt that some people might be comfortable with, but we're not comfortable. We want to get rid of them and be just have them completely gone. So we're focusing really hard to be able to pay down every month as much debt as we can, and we feel that food is the biggest door in order for us to either walk through that or still be on this side saying, hey, why are we in this situation? So
we will share more about that.
We will share more. This is a new thing for us. Exposing this area, but budget is so huge. Finances are so key.
Well, and it was one of the items on your list.
It was one of the items on my list.
From the article.
And we know budget is something we've worked on for years and years, trying to fine-tune, just actually doing it and doing it well. We use a program called YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. I'll put a link to that, but it's just YNAB, YNAB.com. Some people use Every Dollar, which is Dave Ramsey. It's that same idea that we try to give everything, every dollar, a job, or we give every dollar a category, however you want to classify it, so that way any extra spending is going towards a debt payoff. And then when you get past that debt payoff, it goes to savings or goes to a trip or goes to whatever we choose it to go to. Instead of right now the money, we don't really have a choice. It's already earmarked.
For that. As a job.
So we'll share that, and my goal is to update regularly with Instagram, with the podcast, so that you're not just hearing about it in this podcast and then you don't hear about it till the end of May. We want to take you along that process. If we make some mistakes, or if we go out and we weren't going to, just really being transparent with this month of May and seeing how that goes for us. And then I'm also using this month to try to reset my eating habits, because I feel like I have fallen off the wagon with some of the things I've been eating. And I tend to, what's the right way when I set goals for myself?
Well, they aren't always realistic.
We were out with friends this weekend, and point blank, she said, Doug, your goals need to be SMART. And she meant them, with the acronym, but it was really my goals aren't so smart.
She pointed out 2 elements within that: achievable and realistic.
Yeah, the realistic, I think, is what she was mostly focusing on, making, and I do tend to lean towards the unrealistic side, to really want to push myself. But resetting eating, and my fit vlog will focus more on this week, the eating side, so we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. But just to boil it down, since I make unrealistic goals, I gave it over to you, and I said, Carrie, you tell me what my eating plan, or what the guidelines for my eating will be for the month of May. And you've typed them up.
I have.
And sealed them.
Well, I haven't printed them because I was waiting for further instruction. I will print them and I will put them in an envelope and they'll be ready for your next video.
Yeah, I'll open it and I'll find out what that is on camera and where we go from there. Sounds good?
That sounds good.
Excellent.
It'll be a great month.
It's going to be a really, really great month. I'm looking forward to resetting eating, resetting finances, really just getting focused again. But still celebrating you because your birthday and Bella's birthday and Mother's Day are all in May, and we're not going to discard them. We're going to embrace them.
Yeah, and that's all part of the planning is knowing what's coming and giving it an designated amount instead of spending a bunch and then afterwards maybe regretting your decisions. But saying I'm going to spend this much and just planning for it.
Yeah. We've talked outside of the podcast, but it was great to talk to you again.
It was great to talk to you, honey. You're always my favorite person to talk to.
Yeah, you're mine and I love you so much.
I love you.
All right. Bye. No, bye. We don't say bye.